Hi, everybody. Tom Van Hoy with this week's edition of the Pitt State Softball Insider Show with head coach Elizabeth Economon. Pitt State now 6-4 on the year, split 4 games since the last show, 2 doubleheaders. First was last Saturday home with Arkansas Tech. Pitt State won 6-4, trailed 3-0 in the first. Pitt State scored single runs in the 5th and 6th, breaking a 4-4 tie. And the final run was a home run by Jordan Bradshaw. Samantha Grove got the win. In Game 2, Arkansas Tech a 7-1 win, scoring 6 in the 4th to take command. Nicole Neese, the lone Pitt State RBI. The girls had just 2 hits. Then Tuesday on the road, Claremore, Oklahoma with Rogers State. Same pattern. Pitt State won the first 9-2. Rogers the nightcap 6-5. Game 1, Grove another win, complete game. 3 Pitt State players, 2 hits. 3 different players, 2 RBI. Brianna George stole a base in a 4-run Pitt State third. School record tying 60th of her career. Tied Lisa Hill, who played at Pitt State from 92 through 95, and Lisa is in the Pitt State Athletics Hall of Fame. Game 2, Pitt State got down 4-0, tied it in the 7th with 3 runs with 2 outs before Rogers won to the bottom of the 7th. Hit by pitch, sacrifice bunt, bunt single, and RBI single for the win. The Gorillas continue play this weekend in Joplin, a tournament there at Missouri Southern. 2 games on Saturday. The first at 10 in the morning with Wayne State, at 2 o'clock the afternoon, William Jewell. Come back on Sunday, 3 o'clock against Truman State, and then 5 o'clock, Missouri St. Louis. Here's Pitt State softball coach Elizabeth Economon on the play of her team the last week, starting with the split against Arkansas Tech first.
You know, we did a lot of good things. We're coming out strong in the first game and hitting the ball well. And our first game pitching has been sharp. So we're setting a tone early, which is good. And defensively we're getting better every time we go out. Obviously being on the dirt and being in warmer weather makes that aspect a lot easier. So we're happy with the way we get started. We've just got to work on finishing.
Well, Samantha Grove had a pretty good week for you, didn't she?
Yeah, she thankfully she's a good pitcher and I'm not a pitching coach by any stretch of the imagination, but she does things really well as far as jamming people and keeping them off balance with her off speed, and really she can pound the strike zone and she can get the ball in there pretty quick and jam kids pretty hard. So she's been doing that, jumping out early and really putting the pressure on the other team's offense, and it makes it harder and harder and harder for them to get in a rhythm. So she's been doing excellent work on the mound for us.
Do you feel pretty good, though, about your team against Arkansas Tech in Game 1? You got down 3-0, then able to come back and get that win 6-4, and also got a home run from Jordan Bradshaw on that one. He had 10 hits, but you came back from a 3-0 deficit to win that ball game.
Yeah, it's never fun to go down early. Obviously, we want to score first as often as we can, and having them put up some runs in the top of the first was kind of a wake-up call to where we needed to go to work quickly. But also, on the other side, giving up runs early in the game we have plenty of time to recover in our offense. Sometimes we take a little bit longer to get going than I wish we did, but we were able to answer back right away that in the bottom of the first. Which basically is telling our pitcher, hey, we got you. We're in this. We'll do our part, and just you shut them down, give us a chance. So it was nice to see us come back quickly, because in some instances that could just shut us out, and who knows what would happen.
We talked about this a little bit last week, that sometimes I think the perception in softball is if you do have that dominant pitcher, you're going to be fortunate to even score. And the games used to always be about 1-0, 2-0, but it seems like it's more of an offensive game nowadays, so that if you do get behind like you did 3-0, you feel like, okay, you have a comfort level where you can come back and get some runs and win.
Yeah, we have, and we have a lot of confidence in our offense. We hit well, and statistically we're not hitting well 1 through 9 yet. I'm very optimistic that we will. We're getting things warmed up. But really, 1 through 9 for us, anybody has a chance to hit a ball hard or get on base any way that they can. We've got a lot of versatility all the way through the lineup. So I know nobody wants to get down in the score early, but we preach, pitch by pitch and confidence, and anything can happen, and it's contagious. And so if somebody goes up there and has a good quality at bat, and the on-deck person sees that, she knows that she can do it. So then it just kind of rolls. It's a process that we're working on to make sure we're always in the game and that no game's ever out of reach, because we know what we have to do on the offensive side.
Well, you split with Arkansas Tech at home, then you head down to Rogers State down in in Oklahoma. You win 9-2 and then lose the nightcap 6-5. As you take a look back at that 9-2 win, I think you have to be happy from the standpoint that you had 2 hits from 3 players, and then you had 3 other players that had 2 RBIs, so you kind of spread it around a little bit offensively.
Yeah, it's nice to see everybody doing their part and really helping each other out. It's going to be tough to win with just 1 or 2 people carrying the load. So, excuse me, the fact that we did spread it out a little bit and everybody did a little bit to help us score runs, which is great. We don't have to rely on the 3, 4, 5 hitters to carry us. So we're happy to see that. And a lot of people hit the ball hard yesterday at the defender. So you don't always see that in the box score. We had a lot of good hard hit balls that didn't end up amounting to anything for us, but good square contact from an offensive player gives them confidence for the next at bat. So we're happy to put up 9 runs. That's a couple of the first innings, the 4th and 5th inning where we had 4 runs each. It's nice to have a big inning. We haven't had those yet. We've been kind of spreading them out a little bit. So to get big numbers on the scoreboard in single frames is a big deal. It's a good confidence booster.
Well, the other part about that is you got some big 2-out base hits, didn't you?
Oh yeah, it helps, and we had some good big 2-out walks as well. That we were showing patience at the plate and really being picky about the pitch that we wanted to hit and spoiling it if we didn't like it. So it's kind of it's tough for a defense to give up runs with 2 outs because they're just about out of the inning. So if we can keep our foot in the door and keep pushing people across, it could be devastating.
Tom Van Hoy with Elizabeth Economon, softball coach at Pitt State, talking about what happened last week, and then we'll get to this week and hopefully be able to play. You never know with the weather this time of year, but I did want to go back to that first game against Rogers, and you do win at 9-2, and he did get 10 hits, but Granted, George got a stolen base for you. 60th career, which ties the school record. Lisa Hill set it in 92 through 95, and she's now in the Pitt State Hall of Fame. And having broadcast Pitt State games over the years back in the day, so to speak, she was one of my favorite players of all time. So for George to do that, to tie someone of the ability of Lisa Hill, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's and to be real honest, we don't talk about records and that stuff much at all during the season. So to read that last night after the game, I was really excited, really proud of Brenna. She's been on base a lot, hasn't been hitting the ball necessarily that well, but has been getting on by walk, putting some pressure on the defense with her speed. And then once she's on, if we can move her over, steal a couple bags and put her in scoring position, then we're happy about that. But very proud of her, very happy for her. Hopefully we have many more to come this season.
Do you have a team that it seems like you've got some power? You know about Tiffany, and then you got a couple of home runs as well from Bradshaw and some others over the weekend. But are you a team that can score in a number of different ways, I guess? Yeah,
I believe we are. We early in our career here, we were built much more for power than for speed. We had a little bit of speed, basically with Brenna for the past couple of years, and now we've spread that out a little bit. We have 4 or 5 kids that I think can legitimately steal bases. So, and we've added a few lefties this year, so we can do some of the small ball stuff. I still think the majority of our run production will come from typical power or regular base hits or doubles or home runs, but we are getting better in the other facet of the game where we can put some pressure on just by pure speed. So we did a little bit of that yesterday, which was nice. I think we had 4 stolen bases in the first game, executed a couple hit and runs, button runs. So we're putting the pressure on the infield for sure, which when you're as fast as Brenna and Jordan and Devin McCreeth, it's nice to be able, if you can get the ball on the ground, they can move.
College baseball is going to change beginning next year when they change the baseball, and the idea is to add more offensive element to the game. As far as softball is concerned, have there been changes over the years in that regard? Because we're talking about, it seems like there's more offense this day and age, but have there been any changes in women's softball the last couple of years or not, or do you anticipate any?
I think every year the bats get a little bit better. The core of the ball hasn't changed in the past couple of years. I'm not sure actually when it changed last, but it seems like the bats are always the hot topic for softball, and we have to do a bat list before every game. The umpires have to check them all, make sure on the approved list, and at some tournaments they'll do compression testing for the barrels. So there's always a lot of talk about what are we going to do to make the bats less hot, I guess. I don't know if we see any really quick changes coming up. I know it's just always a hot topic. So I think over the past 5 to 10 years, the bat technology has definitely made it more of an offensive game.
Does it take some courage to play third base?
For some people it does, yeah.
Okay.
It's I mean, you're right there, and pitcher's only 43 feet away by the time she finished striding. You know, she's at 37, 36. So, yeah, it's, I mean, that's why we try not to teach our kids to throw it anywhere down the middle of the plate, because it'll come back at you faster than you've ever seen. But you can get some hot shots there at third and first, or the pitcher, pretty quickly. It'll get off that barrel pretty quick, yeah.
How about the second game with Rogers? A little bit different. Disappointed you didn't come away with the win in that one?
Yeah, very. Our offense took too long to get going. But like I said earlier, we were hitting the ball hard right at people, so we had some tough breaks there. So we weren't disappointed with our offense. I guess the overall effort, we're doing things we wanted. We hit them right at people. So by the time we got it going, it was scored 2 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th to force them to hit their side of the 7th. And then, obviously, you don't like to lose on a walk-off. We were hopeful to get back up in the 8th and score a couple and put some pressure on. But we need to get the offense going earlier and put a little pressure on a team like that, especially when you beat somebody 9-2. You want to come out and jump on them quickly and make sure they know that you're taking game 2 as well. And we let them hang, let them linger, and that's typically how those end up if you don't do your part. Pitching-wise, we gave up 1 run in the 2nd, I believe, and that one was a defensive error, which we're learning. We did some defensive shuffling on the infield, so that run, while we didn't want to give it up, wasn't a major concern of mine, because I figured the offense would wake up and we would get that one back. In the 3rd inning, we got hit a little bit harder than I would have liked, so we've got to do a little bit of a better job pitching on the second half of a doubleheader, and I think we will. Our staff we're getting to know each other. We're getting better at how we're going to piece this thing together. So I think over time and as we go out every outing, we should be stronger. But yeah, it was disappointing to lose that one. We wanted to leave Claremore with 2 wins.
Well, let's talk about what the schedule is on paper, but it might be in. I guess there's a difference between reality and practicality, right?
Oh, yeah.
Saturday at Southern, 10 in the morning, maybe, Wayne State, 2 o'clock William Jewell, then on Sunday, 3 o'clock with Truman, and 5 o'clock Missouri St. Louis. As we do this right now, I know you got an eye on the sky, so to speak, and
right.
Kind of got to wait and see what transpires, whether or not you get those games in, I guess.
Yeah, we're optimistic, obviously, that we would like to play those 4 games. All of them will be in-region opponents and very, very good teams. We have played William Jewell once before and would like to clean it up a little bit and play them a little sharper. Wayne State they're doing well. They're in region as well, so that would be a nice one. Truman's a former MIAA opponent, so it's always nice to play them. And then Umsel is ranked nationally. We would really like to see them. They've got some great pitching. So right now we're crossing our fingers and hoping that the weather pulls it off, but it's looking to be a little bit chilly, maybe a little bit snowy or rainy this week. So we'll have to see what we do here.
Does it or is it difficult for you to go against Truman since you played them?
It's kind of fun. I enjoy it more now that they're out of the MIAA. It was tough to play them. Obviously, anytime we play them, we want to win. But when we're not playing them, it was always I wanted them to do well, just from a standpoint of that's your school. You want them to be successful. So it was hard to want to beat them and then cheer for them when they're not playing you. So now that they're out of the conference, I feel better about hoping for success for them unless we're playing them. But it's always fun to watch and see how things have changed. It's been a while. It's cool to see kids going through the same thing that we did as athletes. So it's always fun to see them. It's good to see purple out on the road.
That's Pitt State softball coach Elizabeth Economon on this edition of the PSU Softball Insider Show. The Gorillas are hopeful of play this weekend in Joplin. We'll see. Tournament at Missouri Southern. If so, 2 games scheduled Saturday, 10 o'clock in the morning against Wayne State, 2 o'clock William Jewell, as mentioned, and then Sunday, 3 o'clock Truman State, and 5 o'clock with Missouri Southern, all of us weather permitting. I'm Tom Van Hoy.